Hello, and welcome to my presentation on emotions and health. I'm Dwayne, a psychology student at the University of Canberra. Emotions play an important, sometimes critical role in the outcomes of health, good and poor, physiological and mental. Emotions are pivotal to any human interaction and have strong links to self-esteem and overall well-being. Emotions also have very powerful motivational qualities. The big challenge for tapping into a deeper understanding of the links between emotions and health is managing and navigating the complex, multi-mechanistic individual that presents as your everyday person on the street. It could be said that human relationships are as varied as there are things on earth, and research examining the links between physiological arousal, health and emotions is ongoing, with psychologists continuing to define emotion into particular classes of subjective feeling. Emotions drive us, or demotivate us, direct us, can make us feel well or unwell. Defining and understanding how and why emotions can become overwhelming, how the connection between the cognitive brain and the emotional brain works, and the important role emotions play in the outcome of good or poor health will be the subject of intensive study for decades to come. Emotions are functional responses to inputs into one's life, leading to adaptive responses caused by hormonal balance and physiological changes. Emotions may be subjective homeostatic states and mood states, and that when we are presented with similar situations that we have experienced many times before, we may still react in a different way than when we expected. Nonetheless, emotions can be motivating or debilitating. As the limbic system interacts with the prefrontal lobes, there is a direct relationship with our feelings, mediated by the emotional brain, and our thoughts, mediated by the cognitive brain. This communication may go a long way towards explaining why emotions sometimes overpower logic. As emotions are strongly linked to changes within the body, psychologists have pondered if such changes contribute to or are essential for emotions. It may be likely that emotions are there as an educational and motivational tool for the mind and body to learn from. James argued that it was the body's arousal that caused emotion, stating that it was the body that responded directly following stimulus with physiological responses, and that emotions are one's sense of arousal. This would become known as James's theory. The common sense theory, also labelled by James, suggests the order of James's theory be slightly rearranged. The third theory is Schachter's theory. It holds that the feedback loop of emotion does not just depend on sensory information relative to the body's responses, but also on the perceptions and thoughts relative to the environment. Your perception of how highly you are aroused by the stimulus then determines how much fear you will have. The body is in homeostasis when its needs are adequately met and it's functioning well. This homeostatic feedback about the body's internal state is handled mainly by the nervous and endocrine systems, using electrical impulses and hormones. Homeostatic balances are challenged as emotional-based systems fire into action. The limbic system is our emotional brain, with most of the limbic system output relayed through the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus lies at the centre of the limbic system. It has links to drives and motivations and also physical expressions of emotions, and few tissues are spared its influence. It plays a lead role in many homeostatic dramas. The hypothalamus also steers part of the endocrine system by releasing hormones that control the pituitary gland, releasing its hormones, and as such, controlling our emotions. Emotions are critical partners in the outcomes of health, and in conclusion, they may not always be obvious, and we may not always learn from them. It is safe to say, though, that emotions definitely have the power to motivate and direct. Ongoing research in this field will be just that, ongoing. How individuals interpret stimuli, current mood state, are just a couple of factors to consider when deciphering the emotional health equation. However, it does appear that feeling good about yourself and the world can be healthy, and feeling bad does not. The regular release of stress hormones on the body system in such times may just be too much for it to deal with and we get sick. Yet for the most part our bodies are very good at regulating our internal states. and keeping those homeostatic balances needed for good holistic health. Thank you very much.